The Algerian War of Independence, fought between 1954 and 1962, marked a pivotal moment in the 20th century as Algeria battled to free itself from French colonial rule. This intense conflict, deeply rooted in the brutal history of French colonization, ultimately led to Algeria's liberation and reshaped the geopolitical landscape of North Africa. The seeds of the war were sown in 1830 when France invaded Algeria, quickly establishing it as a French colony. Over the subsequent decades, Algeria's native population endured oppression, forced land dispossession, and cultural marginalization as French settlers, known as Pieds Noirs, benefited from the colony's wealth and resources. Native Algerians, most of whom were Muslims, were subjected to harsh restrictions, denied political representation, and segregated in nearly every aspect of life, sparking deep resentment among the local population. By the mid-20th century, Algerians began organizing against colonial rule. The National Liberation Front, FLN, a revolutionary nationalist organization, emerged as the leading force in the struggle for independence. On November 1, 1954, the FLN launched coordinated attacks across Algeria, an event known as Toussaint Rouge or Red All Saints' Day. This marked the beginning of the Algerian War of Independence, a grueling and violent conflict that would last nearly 8 years. The war was characterized by guerrilla tactics, brutal repression, and widespread atrocities on both sides. The FLN, composed of local fighters and peasants, adopted hit-and-run strategies, targeting French military and police installations while also seeking to mobilize the rural population. France, determined to maintain control, responded with overwhelming military force, deploying more than 500,000 troops to Algeria. The French army employed ruthless counterinsurgency measures, including torture, mass arrests, and the bombing of villages suspected of harboring FLN fighters. Cities like Algiers became battlegrounds for urban guerrilla warfare, with the FLN employing bombings, assassinations, and acts of sabotage in a bid to cripple the colonial administration. One of the defining episodes of the conflict was the Battle of Algiers, 1956 to 1957, where the French military sought to dismantle the FLN's urban network in the capital city. The battle showcased the harsh realities of the war, with widespread civilian casualties and brutal methods used by the French to suppress the uprising. The international community watched in horror as reports of French torture and human rights abuses surfaced, tarnishing France's global reputation. As the war dragged on, it began to have profound social and political effects on both Algeria and France. The conflict deeply divided French society, with many intellectuals and politicians questioning the morality of maintaining an oppressive colonial regime.